Good afternoon. Welcome to Connections, and I'm your host, Pastor Kevin McGee of the Victory Temple Church of God in Christ. You're listening to us on IntellectualRadio.com. You can also listen. Connections is a show designed to keep you connected to the Christian community. So sit back and relax as we get connected. And if you wish to become a Connection sponsor, please reach out to me on Facebook, or you can email me at bishop1915@gmail.com. Nature Sunshine. Have you set weight loss goals for 2019? Would you like a natural approach to weight loss? Do you want to see and feel changes immediately? Do you take medication for high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, fibromyalgia, cancer, arthritis, or any other condition in your body? Do you have poor circulation, frequent colds, flu, or chronic fatigue? Or perhaps you just want to maintain a healthy body? Give it a try. They have many products and plans that will assist you in losing weight the natural way. You can contact them at 708-302-5655. The Bedrock Movement affirms safety, comfort, dignity, awareness, and empowerment for Chicagoland street homeless. For any internship needs for schools, community services that are mandated from the court, or you just want to volunteer assisting the street homeless, you can call John Netherly at 773-567-5110. And today we have in the studio a young lady that I met very recently. I had her over to the church to talk about a wonderful program that and service that she offers to the people. And we want, especially those in the African American community, to listen up. Those of you that's watching by way of Facebook Live, we want you to she has to say. Listen, if any comments, any questions you want to put, you can put in the comment field, and we can address those questions and we can answer those comments. But we can also, if you want to call in and give out a question, you can call in at 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. But we have with us Shelby Dennis, and she is the president and CEO of Grandmama's List. All right. Grandmama's List. Everybody's grandma had a list. She's going to tell you about Grandmama's List. Thank you for taking time out to be with us today.
Pastor McGee, what a pleasure and a blessing it is to be with you here today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure because when I heard about your program and I saw the presentation, I was like, wow. And I had the chance to go to see some of the videos and things of that nature. I was like, oh, this is awesome because the service that you provide is necessary, not just in the African American community, but it's necessary in every family throughout the world. And so we've entitled this show "Taking Care of Business," and that's something that a lot of us we don't do. We take care of business, but sometimes we don't take care of the right business, or we don't prioritize the business that we should be taking care of. We go get our hair done, get our nails done, or I won't say what we often say nails did. We're going shopping. We're going to buy that car. We're going to buy that house. We're going to do all these different things. But there is something that is really simple that we neglect to take care of, and that's making sure that our loved ones are informed about things that they need to know in case, God forbid, we leave here. Now, some of us don't plan on dying. We live like we don't plan on dying. I don't plan on dying, but I know I might have to die. But I told people I'm staying here to the rapture. I don't know. But people, we're gonna allow. I don't know why I'm gonna call you Doctor Shelby. You're a doctor.
Just Shelby's
Okay.
fine.
Are you a doctor though?
I'm not,
Okay.
and I'm very personable, so Shelby's fine.
But Shelby has a service, and so. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Well, I'm Shelby Dennis, and I am the president and CEO of Grandmama's List. Um, my background for the last 15 years, I have been serving the people of law enforcement and first responders as an insurance agent. I take care of them if they get hurt, if they get injured, if they get diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, stroke, if someone passes away because I handle their life insurance. I take care of them and their families. I'm actually licensed in several states, so I take care of law enforcement, city, state, county, and federal law enforcement for about 9 states. And Grandmama's List kind of came from them.
Okay. And tell us what is Grandmama's List.
Grandmama's List is the first ever national life insurance registry company. We keep track of your life insurance, your long term care, and your pension benefit information so that at the time of need, your family members only have one phone number to call to gain access to all of that information. Pastor, people have life insurance. A good portion of people have life insurance, but their family members don't have access. And what we do is we give them access.
You know, I can't tell you how many times I've just in the past year I've known of people who lost loved ones, and the loved ones either did not have insurance or they had insurance, but no one knew where the documents were. No one knew who the insurance companies
Correct.
were, and so they still had to go because they didn't know how to access the information. They still had to go and take up a collection, start a
Yes.
GoFundMe page just to have their loved one buried. Or if they didn't have enough money, they had to decide to go ahead and cremate them because it
Yes.
was cheaper. And that loved one had, they know they had policies worth
Something
hundreds of
somewhere.
thousands of dollars, but they did not know where to find them. And so this is something that we need to know. And I'm gonna say this: the older folks were private in their business.
Yes, Lord.
They didn't want everybody knowing what I don't want them to know how much insurance I have. They'll know when I die. What if they don't know where to find it? They won't know how.
Yeah.
And so what you are providing is very necessary.
This is a way for the old folks, as you say, as grandmama and them. This is if I can say it that way. This is a way for grandmama and them to still keep their business private. They have to do is register it with us, so Pookie and them can fight over it after grandmama and them gone, because you might have some children that are more responsible than others. So you put them as the beneficiary and you didn't tell others that you did that. But grandmama and them don't want to deal with that while they're alive. But see, when you pass away, it doesn't even make a difference because it's already on the documents, and we make sure that Pookie and them know this is what she had, this is where you can access it, and they can bury their loved one with dignity, respect. They can go ahead and celebrate the person's life and the legacy that they leave behind, as opposed to cremation, GoFundMe accounts, fraudulent GoFundMe accounts.
Yes.
That money never makes it to the family. I've seen a lot of that. That's on the rise. Having benefit fundraisers and stuff past the head, coming to the church. The church can't bury everyone. The other portion is a lot of people love their church and love their pastor, and they leave money in their life insurance to the church, and the church doesn't know how to get to it either. They know that it's there somewhere, but they don't know how to access it. So these are funds that are very much needed, and can be very well utilized to build up families instead of people fighting. Oh my God, the infighting is terrible when you deal with you got to pass a hat around, and so didn't want to put in that $100. Okay, now we done tore this family apart over $100, and all we needed to do was give them access.
But see, like you said, we fight over $100. We don't want to give, but we find out they had some money to leave behind. Everybody wants to be on the bandwagon. I know families where they didn't know that grandmama had about $100,000 and she was
Mhm.
leaving some money behind, and those people that didn't want to contribute to the funeral, guess what? Their hand is out when it comes time to pass out the money. I've seen it, and money would destroy a family. And so, those of you who have life insurance policies, keep your family intact. Do what you need to do. Make sure everybody is well informed. I can say this: my mom has always told my sister and I with all of the documentation, or she showed us the binder. We know
Mhm.
exactly where it is. She did this before I even left, before I moved out away from home when I was in my teenage years. If anything ever happened to me, go to the top shelf, that binder there, and she
Mhm.
would often bring us together. Matter of fact, she did this a couple of weeks ago, brought us together to let us know what she's updated, everything like that, what each policy is worth, who to call, this, that, and the other, who the beneficiaries are on this policy, this, because she got multiple policies. So
Right.
I was like, wow, but every family doesn't do that.
Okay, so let me give you a true story.
Hmm.
One of my captains of Chicago Police Department, his mom passed away. There was a house fire, and unfortunately, she lost her life in the fire. But to make matters worse, all of the documents burned down with the house.
Hmm.
So now your mother's binder is up in smoke.
Copies and fire safe. Well, yeah, but
Okay,
I
but do you
understand
understand
what
what
you,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Okay, all her documents burned down.
Hmm.
And he ended up, he said, I called down to three generations of our family trying to find out, did anybody know what was the name of the insurance company? And no one knew. They still had to they had to pool resources to bury mama.
Hmm.
And that's what grandmama's list yes, you have but I can assure you it's still not going to, you still need to register with grandmama's list
Okay.
because we've had too many incidents right now. I have an insurance agent. His sister handed him the folder and he's the agent. And she handed him the folder and he said, Shelby, today I still can't figure out what I did with that documentation because his brain was trying to deal with and process the fact that he had just lost and he done put this documentation down somewhere and they've never found it. And they still had to raise money to
To
bury
various.
dad.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that's why I'm saying that, when you think about how traumatic it is to lose a loved one, your brain is not functioning. Your mind, the blood flow is going to go to the part of the brain that deals with trying to control pain. It leaves the area where you can rationally think. So a lot of stuff that you think, oh, I can handle this, or I'm prepared for this, you're just not prepared. So we need to make sure that people register their information, and that way you don't have to worry about being prepared. We got you,
Right. Right. And now, and even if you do register with Grandmama's List, let your family know that you're registered with Grandmama's List.
which we do that too.
You contact everybody that's involved.
We contact the people in on the registration form. It says, who would you like for us to notify that you've registered with grandmama's list? And we notify those individuals that you've registered, and you receive a welcome packet that also says my life insurance is registered with grandmama's list. One call starts it all, and it has our toll-free number and our website on there.
That's awesome. And then here's the thing. You have this bright, cheery, the smile here. That's the head and the helm of Grandmama's List, African American
Yes, sir.
woman.
Yep.
She knows about us,
Yeah.
although she's catering to everybody. But see,
Yes.
you know, I hate to say this, but our culture, our group, we're the ones that's going to hold, we don't like to share information. You look at other cultures, many of them, not all of them, many of them, they make sure that their families are informed on this, that, and the other. We're secretive.
Pastor, I had to go to the cardiologist because I had a whole situation with a pharmacy gave me medication that was supposed to have been medication and it wasn't. So they thought I was having a heart attack or a stroke. So here now I got to go do all this heart stuff. So I'm talking to the cardiologist and he says, oh, well, tell me what you do. I tell him about grandmama's list. He said, oh my God, I was just talking to my wife. She doesn't know where any of my stuff is. This is a cardiologist. He wasn't my color. His wife don't know either. I'm not kidding. People don't know because you know what it is? We don't want to talk about it. We
Hmm.
don't want to talk about death. We don't want to talk about just the thought of you leaving me. That's more than I can handle right now. We know we're getting older. So I would rather act like it doesn't exist. So she has just blocked that out of her mind. She doesn't want to hear about it. So I was standing there talking to him and he said, I want your information. I gave him 22 packets of information for him and his colleagues because this is not a black problem, a brown problem. This is just a
People
problem.
problem.
$500 million went unclaimed in insurance benefits in the year of 2016. I don't know what the number is, it hasn't come out yet for 18, but that's a lot of money. That money can change the world if it gets into the hands of the people that need it the most.
And I'm glad you said that because I used to sell insurance years ago. And I had this one customer because I asked him, I said, okay, you didn't fill out the beneficiary information. I'm not leaving anything to anybody.
Bless his heart.
I was like, so who's going to be responsible for taking care of your final arrangements? I don't care. My next question was going to be, but I didn't want I wasn't going to ask that question because then I'd be losing a sale. I'm like, what? Why are you buying insurance? You know. But I just left it. He bought the policy, no beneficiary information or anything like that. We
Yeah.
tried our best. He said, nope, I couldn't for the life of me. But it was a policy signed, sealed, delivered, and paid for.
Yeah. In that instance, I probably would have talked him into leaving it to some kind of charitable organization in his honor.
I think my manager did talk to him afterwards,
Yeah.
because he was big with pets. So it might be, and I might have gone to the SPCCA,
See what I'm saying? And
So
then at least, you can make arrangements for them to, if they don't mind, just they could sign over a portion for the funeral arrangements and stuff. But at least leave it to some kind of charitable organization in your honor and in your memory.
exactly. He wanted to be buried with his dog. That's a whole nother thing. He was a white
Okay.
guy, so anyway, that's a whole other. But I mean, you have some people like that with some quirks that are out there like that. Um, how common? How common is it for families to have to struggle to bury a loved one because they simply just can't find the information? They know that mom and dad, grandma has a policy, but they just don't know where to find it. How common is it?
You're probably in today's, if you're talking about us African Americans,
Or in general?
um, I would say, for African Americans, I could tell you it's probably um, 60%. We're probably at 60%. Either the person is two dynamics. They either don't have life insurance or the people don't know where to find the life insurance. So we're seeing an enormous amount of the GoFundMe pages. If you notice, you've seen a rise in cremation. So when you look at the funeral arrangements, the obituary, and it says private burial, that means cremation. That's what that means. So in talking to funeral directors and funeral homes, I'm finding out more and more the services that they're giving away because people just can't afford it, and the funeral homes trying to help. But we're finding more and more it's on the rise. And the challenge is this. I met with a young man yesterday. He's 28 years old. His policy would cost $23 and I would get a month and I'd give him $100,000 in life insurance. Now he doesn't have any children, but he's not married. He doesn't have any children yet, which that's okay. But at least you got that locked in for the next 30 years so you don't have to worry about it. And so his mom and dad don't have to worry about it if he just ends up, he's a great young man. But what if he ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time? And now he has a situation, and in the city of Chicago as well as in the suburban areas, our African American young men are finding themselves in precarious situations.
To say the least.
And if
The
they go to jail, guess what? We can't insure them if they go to jail.
Exactly.
So you got to put policies on them before anything happens. I had an officer, her son was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Pastor, he got shot, ended up a quadriplegic. He was 19 when it happened. He was at the time 25. And she's asking me, can you give me more insurance on him? And there was nothing that I could do. So we need to make sure that we're ensuring our insurability, ensuring our good health, ensuring and then making sure that people have access to it.
And I often tell people this, especially when you have a loved one and they're not taking care of the business,
Mhm.
get a insure them. Um, my children are insured until they get their own insurance, and I probably will still keep the insurance on. My mom did that for us,
Mhm.
because she said she didn't want it to ever come up where, let's say, if we could not keep insurance, at least she had something that could bury us, and
Something.
that's the whole purpose. Insure your loved ones. I know a lady who has her ex insured,
Oh yeah.
because she said, now I don't want, we were married. I had the policy. I didn't cancel the policy. And if something happens and he can't, doesn't have a policy, or whoever he's with can't handle it, at least the father of my children can be buried properly. So insure your loved ones. Yeah, it's not taking anything away from you. but if anything, it can add to you
Yes.
in the long run. And now you mentioned you talk to funeral directors and things of that nature. I have a couple of friends who are funeral directors, and I just some recent funerals. Just listening to them talking about literally, like you said, they had to just donate certain services in order to accommodate the family. And when you find, but see, everybody's not going to be that. Every funeral home is not going to be that generous,
No.
not at all. And you're going to pay. There's a lot to pay for, not just the services. You have to pay for the burial plot.
Yes.
You have to pay for the casket before you even get in the burial plot. The casket might run you close to 10 grand, depending on the style. You know, we buried one that was like 8,900.
No, that's because they were foolish. Bless their
So
heart.
well, top of the line, and but it just depends on what you desire for your people. But
Mhm.
uh, funeral services are not cheap,
No.
and really, um, I tell people make sure you have enough insurance to cover the funeral if you don't have a separate burial policy. Because I have a friend that works for, I forgot the name. It's the largest company that serves that sells burial policy, and I forgot. Um, because they advocate a burial policy plus the life insurance. So the
Okay.
burial policy would take care of the burial, the life insurance take care of all
Everything
the other
else.
everything
Mhm.
else. And but everybody's not in this situation to be able to do that, or they just have a if I got a $500,000 life insurance policy, I'm good.
Good.
But you got to have something,
Something.
something.
Your average cost of funerals today are running between $10,000 and $12,000.
Exactly.
That's your average. So even if you're on the low end, if you have a $20,000 policy, then you're doing good. And this is, Pastor, this is what I want to make sure that people understand about Grandmama's List. When you go to our website and you take a look at everything, none of our information and none of our stuff talks about death. Not in that regard. What we talk about and what we focus on is the life that you're leaving behind. Now, the people that we serve is everybody that's gonna die one day. And you either gonna go one or two ways. You either gonna go by way of the rapture or the grave. But even if you go by way of the rapture and you just get caught up, or you go like Enoch and just walk on up out of here, your body's still gonna be gone, and those that are left behind gonna want to at least have a memorial service for you. Okay. So we endeavor to make sure at Grandmama's List that grandmama, when you think about grandmama, it's a happy thought. We loved going to grandmama's house. Grandmama always baked cookies, pies. She always had a little something. She always had that little peppermint or some butterscotch in a purse for you. She also took that little tissue or that little Kleenex and put the little spit on it and wiped the little stuff off your face, and you like, ew, But grandmama is always a happy thought. Grandmama represents generation. You got to have at least three generations to be a grandmama. So grandmama is generational, but most people have very fond memories of their grandmama. So we want people to think about Grandmama's List and smile. We want you to think about life. We want you to think about the love that you have. Your life insurance, that's your last expression of love to your family. That's your last paycheck to them. That's your last hug. That is your last I love you. And so that's when people think about Grandmama's List, that's what I want them to think about. Not the fact that you're gone, but I want them to get happy and celebrate your life and say, my loved one loved me so much that they made sure that while they're gone, I'm still taken care of.
Awesome. And I like the name of it, Grandmama's List, because that invokes happy, like I said, happy memories.
Mhm.
Going to grandmama's house, Medea's house, Big Mama's house, whoever, however you call your grandmama,
Nana.
Nana, grandma now, so, but 'cause when I first said Grandmama's List, what's that about? And so then when you said that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a very interesting concept. My background is marketing, so that's a great marketing move. With Grandmama's List, that's sure to capture everyone's attention. And now, and I'm going off script a little bit.
It's okay.
Now, how many? Um, you said you started out with first responders,
Mhm.
and then where from first responders, where did that take you
Oh
as far as
wow.
clientele?
Oh, we have our clientele is just all over the place. I have construction, I have bankers, I have retired people, I have just some seniors. Um, I have young people. It is taking us everywhere simply because it's just a problem, and people look at it and say, you know what? When we talk about it, they say, I don't know where my stuff is, and I said, you know what? If you don't know, how your folks supposed to know? So when you say that to people, it's very thought provoking. So Grandmama's List is really taking us all over the place with every industry. Just to give you an example, we are now in negotiations with the Wendy's Corporation. And so we'll be talking back to them at the end of this month and servicing their employees. So you would think fast food, yeah, fast food, because they die too. You
Well, I
know,
die quicker with the fast food.
that to cut that out. You better get out there and walk off that Wendy's like I do. So it's taking us all over the place. Oh, and today I found out that we have now been approved as for the city of Chicago as a MeBe Weeby. So we are certified now as a minority owned and operated business and a woman owned and operated business. So we're quite excited
Awesome.
about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And seeing that the city of Chicago will soon have a woman mayor,
It's only befitting.
a woman African American mayor.
It's only
It's only
befitting.
fitting. And so, how many is Grandmama's List based out of Illinois, or do you have other states that you operate in as well?
We are a nationwide organization. So we service, I actually have headquarters in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are incorporated in Delaware. We are registered to do business here in the state of Illinois, but we are a nationwide organization. So we have clients that are all over the country. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, YouTube, um, LinkedIn. So we're on all of the social media. I don't know how to tweet yet, so sorry about that, guys. Um, but we're on all of the social medias, and it doesn't matter. You can go right to our website and register, so you can be in any state. And so we hopefully next year we'll be international, but we're at least nationwide right now.
All right, Grandmama's List goes international. Great Britain and
We
some of the
probably will
other.
go to Canada and Australia first.
Oh, and then you go to Kenya. Go to the motherland too. Uh,
But I'm gonna tell you, it's funny. If I don't know if you've ever looked up the history of Australia,
hmm
they're more of a Christian nation than we are.
Yes, they
Their
are.
prime minister does not play. She said, "Now we'll welcome you in, but this is who we are. We're Christians here." So I was really excited. One of my old bosses was from there, and I
Canada, radical border there.
yes,
That's a great opportunity as well. Now, you know what? I want to go to Earl. Can we go to a quick break? Yeah. Before we go into this next segment of questions, stay tuned. We'll be right back talking about taking care of business with Grandmama's List on Connections.
I don't believe that I gotta stay broke when God can bless. No, no, I don't believe that I gotta stay hurt. I got to real. Lord, I believe in you. Lord, I believe in Lord, I believe in you. Lord, I believe. I don't believe it. Yeah. That I gotta stay sick when God can heal. I don't believe it. No, 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 no. When God can bless. I don't believe it. No. That I gotta stay hurt. I got to real. Lord, I believe in you. Lord, I believe. Oh, Lord, I believe in you. Lord, I believe. I'm a believer. I've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. You forgave me of my sins. You forgave me of my sins. And I'll never let you go. Never. And I'll never let go of your hand. Oh, Lord, I know that I do. Oh, Lord, I believe. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord, I've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. You forgave me of my sin. I know you did. Yeah. And I'll never let you go. No, no. And I'll never let go of your hand. I don't believe that I got to stay sick. I don't believe it. No, 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 no. I don't believe it. No, 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 no. Lord, I believe in you. Lord, I believe in you. I don't believe it. No. That I got to stay sick when God can heal. I don't believe that I gotta stay broke when God can bless. I don't believe it. That I gotta stay hurt Lord, in your power, Lord, I believe. Oh, Lord, you've been my shelter. You've been my healer. I believe.
Welcome back to Connections, and we're here with Shelby Dennis, the president and CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Grandmama's List. Listen, this is some good stuff. Those of you, listen, if you don't have insurance, you need to contact her. If you have insurance, you need to contact her because what her service provides is a way, a vehicle by which we can be informed when our loved one passes. Now, we hate to talk about death. We hate to think about mama dying, daddy dying, husband and wife dying, children dying, but that's reality. The Bible says it is it appointed unto man once to die. Death is inevitable. Death is going to come. It's going to knock on your door. Death is no respect of person. It doesn't have a time frame. It's going to show up when you least expect it. But you need to make sure that your loved ones are prepared for your demise. If you don't want to call it death, call it your going away, call it your vacation, call it your home going, whatever you want to call it. When I die, I told my family, listen, when I die, I want a 3-day service. I want 2 days as a musical, 1 day as a funeral, and I want to be sitting up. Anyway, Earl is looking at me. I don't be laying down. I want to sit up. Earl, you're not coming, huh? Yeah.
I don't know if your body gonna let you do that, but okay.
But listen, that's I look at it like that. I don't always look at gloom and doom when it comes to death. I try to find some humor somewhere in that because that's a good way of dealing with it. So now, Shelby, if somebody comes up to you and say, "Now, Shelby, I want to do Grandmama's List, but," and they whisper this, "I just don't have any insurance. I can't afford the insurance." Because a lot of people, unfortunately, when we can't afford insurance, it's almost like an embarrassment to us. We don't want people to know that we don't have insurance because we can't afford it, or we don't have as much insurance. I only have a $25,000 policy. Because in our mindset, we need to have, or we're supposed to have, at least $100,000 and up. That's in our mindset. So what options can you offer them? Because your background is insurance.
Yes.
What options can you offer them?
Well, if you're dealing with a senior, I have what's called a final expense product, and there's no medical exam at all, and that goes up to $50,000. And so we can provide them with insurance, and they don't have to worry. And I'm talking about even if they're insulin dependent diabetic, I can cover them, and the premium is very reasonable. And if they're pill diabetic, and I'm going to tell you, most companies don't cover diabetic, especially if you're insulin dependent, because that's such a dreaded, horrible disease, what it can do to the body. But we have, term policies that go for 30 years that you can actually convert. As long as you convert part of it before you turn 70, you're good. And then it'll go into a permanent insurance. We also have what's called an FFIUL, which is a financial freedom indexed universal life. That one builds cash value extremely quickly. It's very flexible. You can overfund it. You can put a little more into it. You can put a little less into it. It's a very good policy. And have you ever heard of creating the $1 Million Baby?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so years ago, there was a movie titled Creating a $1 Million Baby. The way they actually created a $1 Million Baby is when your child is born, within that first 1 or 2 years, you'll put a policy on them. By the time they get 63, 65, their policy is worth over $1 million. It may be 1 point something million dollars, and it's through a life insurance policy. So for those people that don't think that they need to insure their children, this is a way that you can insure your child for about $50, $60. By the time it's time for them to retire, they can actually take the cash value out of that and live off of that as well. They may have $300,000 or $400,000, $500,000 in cash value that they can take out tax free, which is awesome.
Mm.
And the policy will be over $1 million. So that's how you can create a $1 million baby. And you can get policies. We've got term, we have whole life, we have universal, we have policies ranging anywhere. I think I covered somebody and it was $12. If you can afford Starbucks, you can afford insurance. I'm just not, hey, let's keep it real. If you can afford Starbucks, now I'm not gonna mess with your cigarettes. So I'm just gonna say if you can afford Starbucks, I ain't
mess
gonna.
with mess with the cigarettes.
Oh
And
Lord,
that's
here
why
we
they go.
go.
That's why some of them they need the insurance.
And let me tell you, now I'm gonna mess with your cigarettes just a little bit. So if you get a policy with me, all of our policies have what's called living benefits on them. So if you're playing around with the cigarettes, your chances of getting cancer or having heart disease or any of that kind of stuff is greater. But our benefits, you don't have to die to get the benefits. You can be yet alive. And if you get diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, stroke, have brain aneurysm, any of this other kind of stuff, end up with MS, any of that, you can accelerate your life insurance and get up to 80% while you're alive and still have a death benefit on it.
So you can enjoy your money
You see
before
what I'm
you go.
saying? You can enjoy you some honey
Before you go.
before you go. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that trip you always wanted to take, you just got to take the oxygen tank with you, but you can go to Hawaii or whatever with your money. If you need to have somebody come into your home and take care of you, you'll have the money to be able to do that.
Right.
If you need to go and get other treatment that your health insurance doesn't pay for, you'll be able to do it. And that can extend and give you a better quality of life. So a lot of times people think of life insurance as a death insurance, but we have living benefits on our policies that are not riders, which mean you have to pay more money for it. Not so. Ours are built in. We have a chronic, critical, and terminal illness. And it's all built into the policy. So no matter which policy you get with me, that's going to be on there.
I'm going to bring you back to the church
Yes, sir.
on Family Day
Okay.
to not only talk about grandmama's list, but talk about that as
Okay.
well. Because a lot of people in this day and time, they just don't have the insurance.
Right.
And many of them with pre-existing conditions feel there's no hope for them at all.
I got you.
So, but we need to let people know that there is someone who could possibly help them.
Yes.
They don't have to go through life without having insurance.
Right.
And then when you get the insurance,
Pay the premium.
when Shelby gets the insurance for you and you pay the premium, register that policy with grandmama's list.
I'm going to be a one-stop shop. I'm going to take care of your insurance and I'm going to make sure you get registered. They won't have to worry about that.
Yes. So if you want to leave money to Victory Temple, register the policy.
Leave your tithe. We list them as a benefactor. So you 90%. Come on now. We talking about this is a church show, right?
Yes.
I'm just saying, I want to make sure we saved. So you leave 90% to the family and you still tithe off of your life insurance. That $1,000, $5,000, that $10,000 that you leave to the church, that can go a long way. My godparents are pastors and bishop over in California. They are over India and Pakistan and they're sending Bibles and stuff. So you got missionary work going on. You have homeless issues and stuff like that. People come to the church. The church is feeding the people. We have to be smart about what we're doing. We keep asking the government to do for us what God have called us to do for ourselves. And so if people leave, think about this. If you had 10 church members that left the church $10,000 off their $100,000 policy, do you not know you could actually leverage that money and use that as collateral if the church needed to go and get some other money from the bank and stuff? That's how white folks build their churches.
Exactly.
That's how they get things done without having to go to the government, because now you've got $100,000 worth of security. So we need to just start educating people to understand the power of insurance.
Awesome. My eyes have been open to some other things and some other ideas just by listening to what you're saying. Now, here's the question. If the insurance policy that grandpa has, they have this insurance policy that has a face value of $350,000. Okay. But the family never had the information on where to get it from, how to access it. They know it's out there. They just don't know where it is. What happens to the money?
Okay, here we go. Let's get into it. There are 797 life insurance companies in the United States. If nobody knows where you left it and the name of the company, then we're gonna sit down and there's 26 alphabet letters in the alphabet, and somebody's gonna take the A's, somebody's gonna take the B's, somebody's gonna take the C's. So what happens to the money is this: it does not get turned over to what is that lost property or whatever that
Hmm.
goes to the treasury. Insurance proceeds and insurance capital does not get turned over to the state. The insurance companies keep it. So that $500 million that I told you went unclaimed, the insurance company said, "Thank you. I appreciate your ignorance." They
Wow.
make money multiple ways. One of the ways they make money is the premiums paid in, the interest off of the premium that they get from investing it, and the other part is the unclaimed benefits. And this is the thing. Let's say that mama dies and your mind is just so messed up and you just can't figure out anything. And you wait 2 years or 3 years and then you go digging for her policy and you find it. You still, time have run out on you because you have a specific amount of time to file that claim. If you're outside of that window, then they still don't have to pay you.
Really?
Yes. And that's left up to each individual company. It's not, insurance is not federally regulated, it's regulated by the state. But the insurance companies help make the rules.
Mm.
So now you may have, and the company, when they go and they submit their proposal to the state about what they want to do, they say, well, uh, we have an open window. You have 18 months to file a claim or 15 months to file a claim. If you file it on the 16th month, you're done. You file it 24 months later, you're done. They can say, we have 12 months. You can file it within 12 months and we're good. We'll pay you. Anything outside of that, they're not obligated to pay you. So we are throwing away hundreds of millions of dollars because the Bible says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And then he goes on to say in Proverbs, he talks about it's a good man that leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Well, we leave an inheritance, but we're not giving them access to it. So you've done the right thing by buying the insurance. Only thing I'm now asking you to do, take the next step, register with Grandmama's List.
Exactly, exactly. And you said you are the first,
We're the
the
first,
only
yep.
national database for.
Yes. This has never been done in the history of the world.
I know insurance companies probably hate you.
They will in a minute. They will in a minute when all these people start registering. And now we're going to be the watchdogs. The Bible says watch as well as pray. We're going to be the watchdogs for the insurance industry, where insurance companies are now going to have to fork over that money because we're going to tell people, hey, they had it with this company, that company, this company. Go get your money.
Mm, okay.
Mama had 3 insurance policies. Let me tell you, here you go.
Now, in that, do you provide the policy numbers and everything, the insurance policy numbers for the because they just go when they find out that okay, grandmama had a policy with MetLife.
Okay.
Can I just go to MetLife and say, Sadie Johnson, I'm her daughter, and she passed away. I know she had a policy here, or what do they need? Do they need policy number? What do they?
So with Grandmama's List to register, we're non-intrusive. So we're not going to ask you for social security number. We also do not need the policy number. Insurance companies get bought out. So policy numbers can change.
Hmm.
So all you need is the demographic of the person. So name, phone number, date of birth you have to have, and we can locate that policy. But you got to know which company to go to.
Gotcha.
So I represent Transamerica. I need to be able to tell you that hey, Transamerica, here's the phone number. And I'm going to be able to give you, but you should have mama's name, address, and her date of birth.
It'll be on a death certificate or anything.
And the social security
And social
number will
security
be
number.
on there.
Right.
So, and you've got to provide you have to provide a death certificate in order to get the benefits from them. So the social security number is the only thing that they will really and truly need to be able to identify, but they got to know which company to go to.
Gotcha. I often wondered, I said, because people say, Pastor, I know that my loved one has a policy,
Mhm.
but I don't know how to find it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm sure there's something out there. There's a vehicle that exists that if you look it up, they can tell you exactly what's what. I always just, thought that there was just something out there, but there is, but you just have to register. You have
Yes.
to register your information in order for when they come to the Shelby. Okay, Big Mama died. I know she had a policy. She was with such and such, such and such. We can't find it in the house, can't find it anywhere. But we know she registered it with Grandma's List. Here's all the information. She said, if anything happened to me, contact Grandma's List and all that. So we're contacting you, and then now you can pull up the information. We
Yes,
can get paid.
correct.
All
And
right.
one of the things that we're also doing for the church is that when I come to your church, your members that register with us, we will actually give you a list of those members that registered. So that way, when their loved ones call the church, because they're gonna call the church first, they're not gonna call us first. They'll call you. um they'll say, well, Mother Sadie, she passed away and we need help with the funeral. You guys will be able to go and say, oh, she was registered with Grandmama's List, just here's the phone number, and you'll be able to give them our toll-free number and we'll be able to assist with that.
All right. So Victory Temple members, I want all of y'all to register with Grandmama's List because when y'all loved ones call, say, look, Pastor, you got to help bury Grandma. I'm gonna say, no, you're gonna go to Grandma's List and get all your information. All right. So, tell us about this event that you have coming up.
So we will be Grandmama's List. It has an exhibit. We will be an exhibitor, excuse me, at Black Women's Expo, which is going to be in Chicago at the McCormick Place, April the 12th through the 14th. But what makes us really kind of crazy, and we are so out there on the water, man. We stepped out on come. I'm serious. I'm like, Lord Jesus. So we're going to actually give away a free car at this event. So in order,
Earl turned around like,
yes, sir. Mr. Earl, we're going to give away a free at the Black Women's Expo. You do not have to be present to win, but you have to register one of your life insurance policies with Grandmama's List, and you will automatically be put in to the drawing. Now, Bishop, Pastor, and I keep wanting to call him
I'll
Bishop.
call
So,
him Bishop.
Bishop,
It costs more money.
oh, Jesus, Bishop Dr. Right Reverend Pastor McGee, if anyone registers from the show, all you have to do is in the note, just put in there his name, or you could put in intellectual radio. You could put in anything that tells me that you heard us on the radio, and your name will actually be entered into that drawing, not once, but twice. So
Oh,
that doubles your chances to win. So this is my very dear friend, and I wanted to make sure that I was a blessing to his listening audience.
all right, all right. I'm gonna make sure all my policies are registered. I need a car.
And I thought about this. Now, you know what? This is the thing. If you got kids that's getting ready to graduate from high school, this is the perfect opportunity for you to possibly win a vehicle for them going to college that you ain't got to pay for. Oh, well, no, no, no. But this is the thing. You can give them the raggedy bucket,
Okay,
and then
there
you
you
keep
go.
the new car.
There you go.
You keep the new car. Sorry about that. But yes, so all you have to do is register with Grandmama's List, register one of your policies, and Shazam, you're automatically entered to win.
Wow. And I've been talking to some people about your service. I'm gonna make it my business to talk to more pastors because I want you to have an indoor. I want you to have an open door to go in
Thank you.
with these pastors. Pastors that are listening to me right now, listen, you need to get her information. You need to get her in there to talk to your members because if you're like me, we don't know when the members of our congregation are going to pass away. We don't know who's going to need help. But if we can provide, the reference information where they can contact Shelby and say, "Hey, Grandmama had a policy registered with you. What do you have for us?" We need to be able to point and direct people to Grandmama's List. We need to let them know that there is a service out there that can help them. You just got to register. The simple thing, just register.
Yeah.
You know, register is sort of like a bad word with some people. We don't like to register for a lot of things.
Mhm.
We don't like to register to vote. We don't have to like to register. I mean, a lot of people will give you free items. You just got to register. We
Okay,
won't
well, sign
register
up
our
then.
name. Sign
Sign up.
up. Because register is like, oh, you want us to register. Okay, sign up. Put your name on the dotted line. Just sign up. Okay, so what is the greatest challenge that you faced in putting grandmama's list together?
The greatest challenge, oh my God, I've had so many. When the Lord first gave me the idea, He gave me so much information at one time. I was so overwhelmed. I remember having, I mean, I've got 4 phases of this company already built out. We're only in phase 1, and He gave me so much information, Pastor. At one time, I was so overwhelmed and I had to pull the car over. I thought I was getting ready to throw up because when you ask God to give you a pure and holy passion, and then He does it, oh my goodness, I just didn't know how to handle it, and my body started having reaction to the overwhelming presence of information that the Lord was giving me. I remember one day I was dealing with grandmama's list and he started pouring information and my body couldn't handle it. And from head to toe, I was racked with pain. And I said, Lord, you've just got to help me. And so that I think has been the most overwhelming challenge that because I worked through it. I never stopped. I never stopped going. I never stopped. I worked through the pain. I worked through the nausea. I worked through all of it because this is so important and this is so vital to the nation that he chose me, a little old black girl from the west side of Chicago. My mother was a nail technician. My father was a barber, but you chose me to bring this to the world. And so it's an awesome responsibility. And when you realize how awesome it is and the magnitude of the responsibility, your body will react to it.
That's awesome. And so then, in the same vein, we talked about the challenge. What has been your greatest or your happiest accomplishment or achievement?
Um, Presenting it, actually presenting it, it just brings a joy to me. I stood before a room full of city, state, county, and federal law enforcement on September the 26th, and I had the distinct pleasure and honor to present Grandmama's List to a room packed, and I could not have had a prouder moment. Being able to see what God had birthed in me, being in full display. So that has been a very proud moment for me, being able to present it. Every time I present Grandmama's List, people's response is like yours, it's like Earl's. People's response is, oh my God, where have you been? We need this. And so to hear people really talk about the fact that they need Grandmama's List, and I can't, I mean, not that I want anybody to die anytime soon, but when one of our members do pass away and we have the pleasure of being able to help their family, that's going to probably be the next level for me.
That's awesome. And listen, those of you that are watching by way of Facebook Live, some of you are living in other cities. You can still take advantage of this service. I see you watching Beatrice Carter. You all can take advantage of the service because it is very necessary, it's very needed in the world. And so, like she said, she's have aspirations of going international, and she's gonna go international. So you're gonna be able to see Grandma's List all over the place. And so, the rotary dial phone is the logo. Go visit. Tell them how they can contact you and the sites that they can get information from.
You can visit us on our website and you can actually register right there. And it's a big banner that says register to win the car. Yes. Okay. It's www.grandmama, and it's GRANDMAMASLIST.com. And so it's grandmamaslist.com. You can go right to the website, register, click, sign up, because you said they don't like register. Click to sign up, and Shazam, you're in.
Awesome, awesome. And there is no excuse. There's really no excuse.
None.
None at all. Because if you have insurance, you have beneficiaries, they need to know where to go in order to access your information. All right, so we just thank God again to all of our sponsors, Nature Sunshine, the Bedrock Movement. Listen, if you want to become a sponsor of Connections, just feel free to reach out to me. Listen, our sponsorship packages are very, when I say crazy affordable, crazy affordable. Matter of fact, when the Lord gave me the sponsorship prices, I was like, okay, God, but crazy affordable. All right, so reach out to me. Those that wish to sponsor your event, your ministry, your organization, your business, reach out to me and we will accommodate you. And we just thank God. Feel free to visit Victory Temple every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. We roll early in the morning. We don't be playing, y'all. We're located at 2000 West Roosevelt Road in Broadview, Illinois, inside of the Community Presbyterian Church building. Tomorrow's message is only God can do it. That's tomorrow's message. You got to come in order to see it. Amen. And we just thank God for what the Lord is doing as we enter our 5th year at Victory Temple Church of God in Christ. And we're so grateful that Shelby has been able to be with us on today, and we're looking to hear more from her. We're going to bring her back to the show after the car, somebody win the car. After I win the car, we're going to bring her back to the show. Earl, when I drive up, I'm gonna blow outside. I'm gonna say, come on out, see the car, and we're gonna definitely bring you back to the church and let you inform the people, because the people need to be made aware of what's going on. This is just one of those financial components that families need to know about. All right, so we just thank God for everything, and tune in to Connections every Saturday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. God bless you. See you next week.
I gotta stay sick when God can heal. I don't believe that I gotta stay broke when God can bless. No, I don't believe that I gotta stay hurt. My God's too real.